Hello, everyone. This is Eknath, and thanks for joining today's session. So this is the second session of our prep bundle for the PhD aspirants, for the overseas PhD aspirants. Today's topic is the tackling TOEFL and GRE, the two most important exams that the aspirants needs to give for for a overseas PhD application, and we will see the strategic preps for the PhDs and master applicants. So right now I am in NTU Taiwan, and I will be joining Georgia Tech in this coming fall. And today's agenda will be, so I'll give you guys a brief introduction about the TOEFL and GRE. Then I'll go into details about knowing TOEFL inside out and knowing GRE from their structures, prep strategies, and the materials that you can find. So if you are a beginner or if you don't know anything about TOEFL GRE, this webinar will give you a very good overview and some details as well. So these things will get you covered for knowing TOEFL and GRE inside out. So what is TOEFL? TOEFL is the test of English as a foreign language. So if you are a non-native English speaker, you need to have a TOEFL or any other English language proficiency test for a overseas application. And by overseas, I mean any university that is outside your country. That could be in Asia, that could be in US, that could be in Europe, that requires TOEFL as well. And why TOEFL? So there are other English language proficiency exams out there. TOEFL is most common and most recognized. That's why we are talking about it today here. The other alternative could be IELTS. That is also a second, you can say second choice, or a more second candidate after TOEFL. That is the second most recognized test. Okay, so some facts about TOEFL is highly recognized. That is the main reason why we are talking about it today here. It gets recognized more than 11,000 universities and over 150 countries all across the world, and most preferred in the world as well. And it is available currently in two formats, that is the paper-based and internet-based test. So in internet-based test, you need to go to an exam center or a TOEFL center and write the exam on a computer with a headset and with a microphone. That's it. And on a paper-based test, you need to again go to a exam center, but write it means writing by hand. So the TOEFL IBT, that is internet-based text, is the most accepted across the world, and for US it is the only test of TOEFL that is accepted. Very few, or I haven't seen any university from on my knowledge that accepts paper-based tests now. Okay, recently there is a TOEFL home test due to COVID, because all over across the world there has been lockdowns in different parts, and due to that there is a format called TOEFL home or IBT home that will require. Right now that is not so usual, because the post-COVID things has started to run as it was before, with some here and there. And another thing is there is no negative marking, unlike our traditional MCQ based exams like joint, IEEE, this kind of exam. There is no penalty for wrong answer. And score validity, although it seemed high, means if you compare with other test scores, but it's only valid for 2 years. So if you get a TOEFL score, or if you get an exam in next couple of months or so, then you can only use it for next 24 months. So please keep that in mind when you apply for when you prepare for TOEFL and write the exam. And cost in INR, it is about like 14.5 Ks. So it is not so cheap As you can see, it is for one time, it will take you 14.5K. So you better be prepared for the exam before you take. Okay, and GRE is graduate record examinations. And so it is also widely accepted and also accepted in many countries, means rather than US. In US, it was accepted by most of the universities, or required by most of the universities, rather than say accepted, required by most of the universities. Pre-COVID, it was a very normal exam, or widely accepted exam. Okay, post-COVID, because of the same issues during COVID, all of the exam centers were locked down, and due to that issue, the many universities has waived the GRE post COVID. And many universities and well-known and famous universities like UC Berkeley has waived the GRE completely from history. Means UC Berkeley will not take any GRE from now on. The reason is they think they write means they posted in their press conference that they don't seem GRE is a uh, very representative of the skills of the applicants, like research oriented skills. It is shows analytical skills but not directly research capabilities. That's why they have waived it. Okay, here is also no negative marking, and available in two versions. One is the general test and subject test. And general test, that we are going to talk about it today in more detail. Subject test means very few universities or very few institutions need subject-based test that take your ability in a specific subject, and that could be physics, mathematics, or literature. And also valid for 2 years, and cost is slightly higher than the TOEFL, that is around 19K in INR. This would change slightly. Someday it become 19,200, because in as the US dollar to INR exchange rate changes, the cost will change slightly. Okay, let's go back. One thing I didn't mention, that these costs that for TOEFL and GRE that I mentioned, this is for only exam, means this is the cost. This is the registration cost to take the exam. This is not the cost to prepare for the exam. It has been included. It hasn't been included. Means you need to buy books. You need to maybe do some online tutorial classes. You need to give some online mock tests. These are not included. So this is the sole exam. Okay, let's go into knowing the TOEFL. We will talk about structure, some prep strategies, and materials that you could find. Okay, TOEFL is an exam that tests 4 of your English abilities, that is reading, listening, speaking, and writing. So the total exam is in 120, 30 each in reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And the total time is 3 hours 15 minutes. Okay, so this 3 hours 15 minutes include a 10-minute mandatory 10-minute break. So as I mentioned, it's mandatory. So after reading and listening, that as you can see here, reading comes first, then listening. So after the break is here, after reading and listening section, you will be asked to take the break, and after 10 minutes, the coordinators of the exam will call you back, and then you will start the speaking and the writing. Okay, so let's make some more deep dives. What is reading? So reading has 3 or 4 academic paragraphs. Okay, and each paragraph is 700 words long, around 600 to 700, not exactly 700. So, and you will be asked 10 questions from each paragraph. So that could be 30 questions if you have 3 paragraphs, 40 questions if you get 4 paragraphs. Okay, and the main questions that comes out of the 10 means if you want to score high, the basic thing that they ask is the inference type questions and the main ideas, the hidden ideas. Okay, next is listening. You will be you will listen 6 audio tracks. That could be, yeah, 6 audio tracks. And these 6 audio tracks are not exactly same. That could be classroom lecture. So a classroom lecture is something like a professor is talking about some certain academic subjects. Academic subjects can vary from art sciences, from biology, from physics, from chemistry, from botany, from anthropology, from literature, and from history. So it can cover everything. So there is no certain advantage of means of STEM, means science, engineering, mathematics, means this kind of student from this background of students. It can be from anywhere. Okay. And the lectures will be in normal pace as we talk, or as professors talk in class normally. It will not be too fast or too slow. Okay. Or it can be a discussion between two students on topics like, let's say, some university shift their hostel from in campus on campus from out of campus. So some conversation on this means some conversation between two students. One of them may be saying that this is a good idea to change the campus, change the hotels from one on campus to out campus, and another one is opposing about that. So and general conversations, that could be general conversation between a student and a professor, a student and a librarian, a student and office staff, but mainly academics. So anything that you will find in a university or across the classroom, what you normally do, you go to class, means you go to attend college, go to class, go to library, go to some academic stuff for your transcript, for other information that you things you do in college will be this all the 6 audio tracks will be on that kind of subjects or that kind of conversations. Okay, each of them will be 3 to 6 minute long tracks, and each from each of the tracks, audio tracks, you will be asked 6 questions and listen only once. So you will be able to listen only once, one track. So you need to be very careful when you are listening, or you need to take notes and so to keep the main idea. Okay. Then comes speaking. Here you will have 4 to 6 speaking tasks, and how they are speaking tasks. 2 of them, I think, as I remember, 2 of them will be independent speaking. Independent speaking means you will be asked, you will be just given on a topic. Means in the exam it will say, okay, please briefly describe or tell us your opinion about the city that you live in. So if you are living in Calcutta, or then you need to describe what you like most about Calcutta, what are the things you do, what are the things you don't like, or means a natural opinion. Okay. And secondly, other speaking tasks will be some more complex tasks where you have to read a instruction and then listen and then speak. Means you will be reading a letter and then someone, or a notice, university notice, like you read in your university notice board outside your classroom or in the administrative building, and then you pass some opinion to your friend. Oh, this notice doesn't seem good because this harm the students, or this notice is good, or this thing that the statement is good for students. You pass some opinion. So you will be reading a letter and then you will be listening some conversation, and then the exam or in the exam it will ask you, oh, what was the notice about, and please describe the certain students A's viewpoint or student B's viewpoint, if you consider that student A and student B. Okay. And this judges your logical structuring. So from a letter, means from a piece of information, from a letter or from a notice, from a statement, and from another piece of information, like two people are talking among each other. So from a conversation, how you can take out the information and logically structure them and then speak out. And next one is writing. So here you will be given 2 tasks. One will be independent writing for 200 words, and another will be integrated writing, that will be 300 words. Okay. So independent writing will be again similar to independent speaking. You will be asked to give your opinion about a certain topic, like smartphone for children's for in nowadays is a problem, or is not giving them enough opportunity to learn by themselves, or bad or good sides of smartphone, something like that. So you will be giving certain topics, and then you will be asked to show your opinion, and you can judge either to speak in favor of them or opposite to them, or even mix. That is up to you. So it doesn't judge you based on your opinion, but it is just you how logically you can transfer your ideas into words, and how you can frame a whole overall storytelling or story writing ability, or basically storytelling, because if you read that story, you are telling to someone. Okay, and integrated is you need to read, listen, and write. So you will be asked again to read a paragraph that is around 200 words long. So you will be reading an academic paragraph. Okay, let's take an example to better understand this. So you let's say you are given a academic paragraph on earthquake. So how earthquake happen, what are the theories that scientists has predicted for earthquake until now, and what are the scientific findings, or what are the scientific advancements that we have done until 21st century to predict earthquakes. Okay, so these are three things: what is earthquake, the evidences or the scientific works findings on earthquake, and what are the works on earthquake prediction. Okay, then you will listen a lecture. So this is the academic paragraph. What happened when some teacher in your class is teaching certain topic, they read out an academic paragraph, or they give you some suggestion or summary about the academic paragraph. So then you will be listening to a teacher who is opposing that academic paragraph. Means they must opposite to each other. So you read about, let's say there are 3 points that shows the earthquake is mainly happened due to the plates underneath, tectonic plates that move around each other, or move underneath the surface of earth. But that teacher or that professor will explain why that theory is not totally correct, and the scientific findings that oppose that theory. So what they are giving you in the exam, they give you one theory, and they give you then certain points or certain logics and certain findings to oppose that. Then you will be asked to write and summarize that the opposing point, how these opposing points describe the first paragraph, or opposes the first paragraph. So you will be asked to write this summarizing the whole thing. So you read, then you listen, and then you write. Okay, then let's check what could be the good strategies. So these strategies I personally followed myself, and scored good scores. So I have given TOEFL 2 times. I'll let you know later what was my scores. Okay, so first, for the reading part, skimming and scanning. Skimming means reading very fast. Reading, if you have less time, if you want to read something, you don't read word by word. You try to catch the overall idea of that paragraph. So skimming means reading with the focus that to overall catch the idea of the paragraph, not reading word by word. And scanning is similar thing. Okay, and time management, because as I mentioned, in reading, you will be asked 3 to 4 paragraphs, each with 700 words. And for each paragraph, you will have 18 minutes. So in 18 minutes, you have to read 700 words, then understand 700 words, and then answer 10 questions from that 700 words. So that is not. So in TOEFL, time management means across the whole TOEFL exam, the hardest time management is this reading part. So you have to be on your toe all the time. for forgetting, or means you cannot take more than you cannot be strategy like this, that I will read all the 700 word first and then answer one by one. So that is not going to be useful, because you need to store that information in your mind, and when you read 700 words, like that is means expressed in 5 to 6 paragraphs, you cannot keep all the information of that 6 paragraphs in your head with details. So the key is read one by one, means one paragraph, and answer one paragraph. So the questions will be asked like this. Okay, from paragraph 1 we can infer that this happened due to this reason. Is it true? These are the reasons. So then you need to find the reason from paragraph 1. So mostly inference question. Okay. And vocabulary building. In the 10 questions, around 2 questions will be asked on vocab. That in this line, this word means this. If you know the vocabulary, then you don't need to write the whole paragraph. You can just look at the word and then look at the answer and select the answer. So it will be very fast and time saving. So vocabulary building will help you to will give you more time on other more trickier questions. If you have a weak vocabulary, then you need to read that whole paragraph or whole passage, then understand by the word what the author or what the this paragraph or what this word is trying to say, and then find the nearest meaning word in your answers and select. So this will eat up your time. So vocabulary building is going to help you in timing, and timing is most important for reading, because the more, if you read 2 times same paragraph, then you can understand better. So if you save the time on that 2 questions on vocabulary, you can use that time on the other remaining 8 questions. Okay, in listening, 6 tracks, as I mentioned, each 3 to 6 minutes long. So the questions will be asked on information and also small information, like if 2 people are discussing among themselves and they are talking about about some course in their university, and let's say one student mentioned, oh, I couldn't attend the class on June 10th due to this reason. So this is a fact. And if you don't remember that fact, if the question asks you again, what was the reason that student B missed the class on June 10th, you will never have any clue. So this is a binary question. Binary means exactly taken from the fact. There is no inference. So for those kind of informations, note taking is critical. So you need to only take notes for factual things, like a year, like a time, like a month, or like a reason, specific reason. You don't need to take notes for overall idea. Like two students are discussing about good or bad things about your hostel shifting on campus or out of campus, because that you can grasp when you hear a story, or when you let's say when you see a movie. You don't need to take a note about or remember the details about the overall idea of that movie. You just remember it by instinct or by nature. But you do need to remember or note down some specific details about in that movie or in that conversation. So note taking is a key for high score. And focus on the main ideas that will be asked. So in and predicting. Okay, so let's say in class 1, in professor is describing something and ask a question to the student, and the student say, I think so. This is a expression, like this tone. Means he's in confusion. So he cannot give the answer right away. So in the questions, it will ask by this kind of expression what the student mean. Is he in confusion? Is he forget the answer? Or is he not aligned with the professor that what he just taught? So this kind of, so these are predicting based questions, and how you can have a good answer, means right answer for Okay. And prediction-based questions. Prediction-based questions, if you are a good listener, you can have prediction-based answer correctly the prediction-based questions. Okay. Next, we go to speaking. So, as I mentioned, it is also 4 to 6 tasks, and you need to plan your responses. So, how it is framed? Let's say they ask, describe your city in your words, and you have to speak for 45 seconds, and you will be given a preparation time of 15 seconds or 30 seconds. So you have only 30 seconds to prepare in your minds that what are the points I will tell. I will tell in Kolkata, I will tell about, let's say, street foods. I'll tell about the democratic culture of Calcutta. And another thing I will tell about the harmony among different religious people among in Calcutta. So let's say these three points will have 3 sentences. So you need to frame that, plan your response in your mind in that 20 seconds that you get for the preparation. Okay, and you need to practice. Naturally, you will be good at English speaking if you practice that more. There is no shortcut of English speaking. Like if you practice more, if you talk English more with your friends, or means however you get that opportunity, it will be better. And emulate native speakers. So native speakers, what you need to learn from native speakers, and there is some certain tones of English that we don't, from a non-native speaker, we don't use usually, or we don't use at all. But native speakers use that kind of tone, and that kind of tone only comes when you be among the native speakers for a certain period of time, or you listen to native speakers for long amount of time, or for long periods. And this kind of expression becomes very very usual to you when you have let's say if you watch many TV series in English and movies in English, this kind you can catch this kind of expressions in tone. So emulate means you need to mimic this kind of tone of native speakers. So this will help you to get high scores if you can emulate native speakers. And writing at the end, you will have 2 tasks, as I mentioned. Planning, so what you will write, and strong thesis statement. Okay, what do I mean by strong thesis statement? When I was preparing myself for TOEFL, I checked many YouTube videos how to prepare for writing and reading and all the things. What is the most common thing about writing that I find is giving examples. Let's say you are asked that giving the mobile phone to children's in schools is good or bad. If you say that this is bad, you need to have some example. That doesn't need to be true. That doesn't need to be true. But you need to let the scorer who will score your writing know that you have some background about what you are writing. You just don't writing based on your assumption. You have to have a concrete fact and well written example. So that is. And what is a good score? Score greater than 90 is a good for most universities. Means most of the universities will accept, has a cutoff of TOEFL in between 75 to 85 or 88 or maximum 90. So anything above 90 is good for almost almost any universities, and more than 100 means 99% of the universities are covered. Greater than 100, only very few university require a TOEFL cutoff or cutoff score of 100 or 101. Only couple of, means you can count that in your hand, like only maybe MIT and maybe Oxford and few else. Maybe totally 5 universities have a cutoff of 100. So if you are more than 90, you are covered for most of the universities. Okay, and the prep materials, where you can get prep materials, there are 3 things that you need to do for this kind of exam. If I can separate the materials, prep strategies and materials in 3 sections, that is books that you will help you to understand the test more, and what kind of, you will have a feeling. If you read the books, you will have what kind of exam you are going to get. Okay, and online classes will teach you more deeper strategies. The strategies that I talked about, it will be taken in more deeper dive, and you will practice with the strategy. So these are the tools that I just show. I didn't show you how to craft a sculpture on the tool from online classes, and many very online classes. I have just given here one example of Greg Matt. That is the cheapest online class for TOEFL and GRE I could find. And this is not only cheap, I have done it myself, and this is very good. Greg Matt is really good. I find it really good. And this is well within the range of most of our who are joining this means this webinar, from the from students from India. This is reasonable price. And practice only from the test takers. So what do you mean by test takers? So ETS is the company that make this TOEFL and GRE tests. So you need to buy the practice material either online or from the book, and then you only practice the official TOEFL questions, means official TOEFL materials. There are tons of unofficial practice materials out there in this market. You will find like 15 or 20 companies, they are trying to sell you practice materials. You can take it. I'm not saying they are not good, but I don't, because I am trying to get a score. So I'm not expert of TOEFL or expert of GRE. So I don't have that standard to expertise to judge how the material is good or bad. So when I'm a beginner, I don't have the ability to judge the material is good or bad. If I take certain material that has below standard than the actual exam, then your preparation of exam will be easier for you. But when you get to the actual exam, it will be harder for you. You can have means you can collapse there at that time. So only practice for official materials. And how long you think you need, I think or you think you need for a good TOEFL score around 90 to 100? You just need 80 to 100 study hours. So that will 2 to 3 weeks. If you dedicatedly read for 2 to 3 weeks, you can cover 100 to 80 to 100 study hours. That's good enough for you. And now coming to the GRE. So GRE is a graduate record examination that I mentioned before at the beginning. It has 3 parts. It has analytical writings, which is scored out of 6. But the most common GRE score that people will ask is 340. So 170 for verbal reasoning and 170 for quantitative reasoning. And the total time is also 3 hour 43 is around 3 hour 45 minutes. And you also have a mandatory break during the exam. So let's go into deeper what are the sections. So analytical writing, you have 2 tasks, 30 minutes per task. So you get 30 minutes. And so you will be asked to write about means you will be asked to write on two things, means one is the read and analyze. So you will be given a passage and then read that passage and write on that. So that will be 2 tasks. Okay, and verbal reasoning, you have 2 questions, 20 questions, 2 sections, so total 40 questions, and you have 30 minutes. So for 20 questions, you have 30 minutes. So it's around 1.5 minutes per question. And verbal reasoning. So what is the key point of verbal reasoning is expand your vocab. And when I mention expand your vocab, GRE vocab is one of the hardest thing to keep. Means GRE's mathematical quantitative reasoning section is easy for STEM graduates, or it's easy because it's mathematics from 8th, 9th or 10th standard, not more than 10th standard. So it's very easy, but vocab is really hard. You need to remember 100, you need to learn 1,000 new words, at least 1,000. So like fruit, water, like gas, motorcycle. These are the words. These are the vocabs, you know. And I just mentioned only nouns. And there are like verbs. And you know, whatever you know, you need to learn 1,000 more new words. And learning 1,000 more new words is not easy. How is this not easy? What will happen? Let's say you set a target of I'll learn 30 words per day. So what you have to read that word, then you have to know the meaning of that word, and then you have to know the how to use that word to a sentence. Means in a sentence. So first day you remember 30 words. Means this has happened with me exactly when I was preparing for GRE. This has happened. First day is easy. I sat down for 1.5 or 2 hours. 30 words. I can remember it. I know the meaning. I know how to use it. Second day, 30 questions. It took me again 2 hours, and I revised the first day's words. So now I get 60. On the third day, now I have to revise the 60 words first and then learn the new one. But when I try to revise, I see I have like forgot almost 20 to 30 words already, because it makes I don't remember this is words from day one or this is from day two. So I could not separately, means not very confident. And third day I again 30. So whenever after 3 to 4 or 5 days you will be effectively learning. If your target is 30 words, if the first day is 30, your learning will go down like 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. So it will be increasingly harder to remember new words. So it's not a linear relation that if you have 1,000 words, you take 30 days or 35 days and 30 words each, and you get 2,000 words. No, it will take you more than 60, 65 days to learn 30 words dedicatedly if you give 2 hours every day. Then okay, and reading very carefully. So it will, what kind of questions it will ask in verbal reasoning? It's like when you are in school, in English test, means half yearly or final test, they used to ask us like fill in the blanks, and they give us a choice of words, and for one out of the 4 words is the correct answer. You put that word into the blank in the sentence, above sentence. And this is verbal reasoning is similar. You will be asked, and there will be more than one fill in the blanks. There could be one, there could be two, one or two, one or two. So you will be asked, so put the correct word in there. So you have to read very carefully. None of the questions are not easy English. Easy English means the English we use day to day to communicate, to write letters, to write applications. These are not that kind of English. This English verbal reasoning is hard. So you need to read very carefully, and you use to the math logic. And what I mean by math logic in English, like there are certain rules in English literature that after a verb, this thing, preposition or this kind of thing, means I'm not too expert of that, but after a verb, this cannot be there. So you need to have this kind of logic setup. Means you need to know the English literature part, how to frame a sentence. In a sentence, there is a subject, there is a verb, there is a preposition, there is a second verb maybe. So you need to learn that anatomy of that sentence inside out to use that kind of math logic. Okay, now coming to quantitative reasoning. Also 20 questions per each, 2 sections, 35 minutes per sections. And basic math, this is arithmetic, algebra, geometry, and data analysis. And mental math. Mental math means if you go to market, buy some vegetables, the seller or the vendor used to have mental math. They never write down in paper, or they never use calculator. They just use mental math, that kind of math. If you have a good mental math, that will save up your lot of time. You don't have to write down the answer. And process of elimination, that is very critical, because GRE, because this mathematics, basic arithmetic, algebra, geometry, that is nothing is too hard. They cannot ask us for that, but they ask a very tricky questions. So you need to follow the process of elimination, because if you try to find out the right answer directly, maybe you have to equate a lot in your paper, maybe 10 lines or 15 lines equate, like mathematical equation in algebra. That will eat up your time. So by process of elimination, you can do that quickly. So what is a good score? Higher the better. There is in certain university there is cutoff job GRE, but higher GRE means you invested much time in there. So higher the better. Good GRE score, I wouldn't say exceptional, but a good GRE score will be 320 to 330 is a very good score. And prep materials, books. So first, only from test takers, official GRE guide from ETS. And second, there is another book that is not from test takers, but I read it personally and that's very good. And that is from mathematics only. That is a called 5-pound book of GRE practice problems. So that is only for mathematics. That book has thousands of problems. So you can solve the practice the problem. That will help you increase your speed. And because they cannot ask harder question in math, so they just have to ask trickier. So the outside book from rather than from test makers is also fine. So this practice book is very helpful, because you need to, when you're trying to increase your mathematical solving speed, you need to try a lot over and over again. That's how you increase the speed. And online classes also Greg Matt. So by 400 INR a month, you can do TOEFL and GRE both at the same time. So this is like a website where you go buy the subscription, and then there is a GRE section, there is a GMAT section, there is a TOEFL section. You can go inside TOEFL and see the videos and start studying, and same with the GRE answer. And practice for verbal reasoning, means for the English part, vocab part, please only and only for test takers. That is nothing from outside, only from test takers. And how much effort? So this is not going to be too much easy task. I don't say that this is, oh, you can do it, no problem. Yeah, it will take your effort, but it will give you confidence. If you put this effort, if you have good scores in GRE, you know that it will boost your confidence. Because this is a hard task, it will boost your confidence. So 500 to 800 study hours, that will take 2 to 3 months dedicated for this preparation. And that's all. And let me finish you by going to the next webinars that is coming up. So today we finish the TOEFL and GRE, and next in this application bundle, we have the SOP. That is one most important aspects for applicants. Like as I mentioned, that SOP is the single most important document that you write for your application. So we have it in scheduled on July 16. So please attend that as well. And then at the end we have LOR that shine. And that's it. Thanks for joining, and please let me know your questions that you have.